Hello, my name is Stefan Moisei, and I want to present you my Android app, which is the Narwhal. Narwhal stands for Non-Visual Android Remote Windows Handy Access for All. Phew! I said that correctly. Yeah. What it does, it allows you to control your Windows computer using your Android phone and the keyboard, of course, because I haven't yet mapped touchscreen gestures to keyboard commands. That could be done in the future, but I digress. So, this allows you to control your computer from your phone. Why is this useful? Well, for me at least, it removed the need for having a laptop for me. So I just use my computer from home, from wherever I am, using my phone. So I can work from everywhere. Alright, how it does this. Narwhal, it's an NVDA Remote client. NVDA Remote, it's an NVDA add-on which allows you to control, which was originally made to control a computer using another computer, to control a Windows computer using another Windows computer. But since the add-on is open source, I was able to write an Android client for it. The reason I'm making this tutorial is people seemed confused about how to use this. Unfortunately, the way computers talk to each other in the network is quite complicated for novice users. Things about private and public IP addresses or so. I can't go into very much detail about it. That would be a whole tutorial on its own. But I'll try to explain you what you have to do to get this working, especially that I was able to simplify this a little bit in the latest version. So, how do you connect? First, you have to set up the computer to accept connections. You have to install the, you have of course to be using the NVDA screen reader, that's a must. For the ones asking me to implement this in JAWS, no, that's not possible. JAWS uses a closed source method of remote control, and I can't tap into it. So, you have to install the NVDA Remote add-on from nvdaremote.com in a single word, and configure it. I'll show you what you have to configure.
NVDA menu. View out C110. Connect. Unavailable C107.
So it was connected. I disconnected.
NVDA connect C107.
So you open the NVDA menu, then Tools, then NVDA Remote submenu,
Connect C107.
and the Connect option.
Connect dialog. Client check.
You have to first. I'll show you a direct connection. For a direct connection, without an intermediary server, you have to set it as server, so down arrow.
Server checked.
Server checked.
Control another machine checked.
Not control another machine, of course. The computer has to be set to allow this machine to be controlled. So down arrow.
Allow this machine to be controlled checked. Head external IP Alt plus I. External IP. Read-only multi-line Alt plus E blank. Port. Alt plus P selected 6837.
I'm using tab to go through the fields. So port is 6837. That's the standard port. You can change it if you want. I won't for this demo.
Key. Alt plus K blank.
Key. You have to use a secure. I recommend to use a secure long key with normal and caps letters, numbers, and or symbols. But I'll use a simple key for now, since I'm a lazy person. So.
Generate key Alt plus Key. OK.
And I'll press OK. These those three beeps signify that the connection, the computer is ready to connect to. So now I'll go to the phone. First, I will show you how to get your IP address. I'm gonna use my external IP address. In order to use your external IP address, you have to forward a port from your router. This differs from router to router, so I can show you how to do that. You'll have to search for this on the internet. I'll go to a site which will show what my current IP address is. So I'll go to Chrome and I'll enter iplocation.net. It loaded. I'll use H for headings.
Where is geolocation of geolocation data from geolocation data from IP to IP country region city 79.169.113.163.55.
So that's my current IP address. It'll change, so it's safe to let it be exposed here. So that's the IP address I'll have to type on Android to get a connection. Well, let's see how this works. So
Overview button. Narwhal. Overview. Narwhal. Edit box for host.
that's the Narwhal app. Let's see how it looks. So
Host. Not connected.
the first thing, it's the label which says not connected. Then host.
Edit box for host.
Nothing in here. Nothing in here for the moment. Port.
62 key. 1. Edit
Key.
Connect button.
And the connect button.
Activate. Remote control. Edit box for remote control zone. Activate the field to start.
Ah, and the remote control zone. Yeah, okay.
Edit box for host. Not connected. Edit box for host.
Alright, so let's type in the host. My Bluetooth keyboard is connected. I'm using a Bluetooth keyboard for this demo. So let's see, the IP address was
City 79.79.
79
7. 9. Period.
dot.
Dot 1 1 3. 1 1 3.
I'm looking it up on the computer. I'm reading it on the computer and transcribing it on the phone.
Dot 1 6 3.
163.
Dot 5 5. 1 6 3. Period. 5 5.
Alright, so let's hope it'll connect, because you know it always fails when you're doing a demo. That's the IP address. You also have to...
Showing number keyboard. Showing text keyboard. Editing 1. Edit box for key.
that's the key.
1.
The key is...
Capital A. Capital A.
Oh.
Caps lock off.
no capital.
A,
F. That's the key I used, because it was easy to type.
Edit box for remote control
And...
zone. Remote connect button. Support. 62,583. Edit box for port. 79.113.163.55. Edit box for host. Tap to enter text. Tap and hold to long rest. Enter field. 3 6.
Let's see, because it doesn't
3
work.
1 1 9 7. Beginning of field. 7 9. Period. 1 1 3 1 6 6 1 1 period. 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 6 3 period. Period. 3 6 period.
Let's type this again.
Select the
I
text.
think I mistyped the...
7 9 period. 1 3 period. 6 3 period. 5 5. Show. Editing. Connect button. City 79.113.163.5.
Oh, oops.
Editing off. Edit box. Showing number keyboard. Editing 79.113.63.5. Clear text. 7 9 period. 1 1 3 period. 1 6 3 period. 5 5. Show. Connect button. Connected.
Woo! It said connected. So it was just a mistake for me when I typed the IP address. It works fine. So that's the external IP address. The port, it's normally 6837. It's different for me because my port forwarding rule was more complicated. But let's see how this works. So I'm using the Bluetooth keyboard connected to my phone now. It's not using my computer. So
Overview list. Option 4 14 36. Video IP 16 36. 6 and edit 4 16. Account manager 17 36. Video 18 36. Desktop parameters. Limited 6 to real option. IP location type.
so you see,
Option keyboard number. Option keyboard beyond Mozilla Firefox.
it's using... you can hear the eloquence both on the phone and on the computer. So in order to understand what we're doing here, I'll disable the computer speakers and we will be using just the phone for now.
IP location finder geolocation city. The bit RCS and RDSSA. IPv4. IPv6 for domain name.
So you see, you also have
Caps lock on.
the NVDA sounds on the phone. I made this work too. You can also press F11 to switch from controlling the phone to controlling the computer. So it just
MP4 converter, all inbox windows, live normal C, Word normal, MSRC name tab, C, downloads Android, Android with IP location, finder geolocation, Google IP location, finder geo, messenger document, IP location, finder geolocation.
yeah. So all what you're hearing now, you're hearing the phone being controlled. We can just press start.
Start window, search box, blank, all apps list, recently added grouping, GSK sharp, management, new, and grouping, default, folder, a grouping, ABBY wipe, abonnement mobile, Acrobat Reader PC, alarm ICs, Android Studio folder, as utility folder, electrical apps.
Yeah. So all it's happening on the phone and not on the computer. It's hearing rather on the phone. It's happening on the computer, but it can be heard on the phone. So that's with a direct IP connection. The problem with this, it's your external IP address can change. You can map a numeric address to your changing dynamic IP address. So the domain will always point to your dynamic IP address. That's quite complicated stuff. You can search for dynamic DNS if you're interested, and you'll find out how this is done. This is quite advanced networking stuff. An easier way of connecting, if you're from the US, you heavy people, it's using an intermediary server that is the NVDA Remote.com server. If you're in Europe or Asia or other poorer continents, that wouldn't be optimal, because the fact that the packets have to be routed through the states makes the connection very laggy. You already have some latency with a direct connection. I'll show you how big this latency is.
IP location, finder geolocation document.
So
Run dialog, type the name of the program, hands log off, speak type characters on.
I activated speak characters and bring my Bluetooth keyboard closer to the phone microphone so you can hear how fast it reacts. So
T H I S this space I is space A D E R D O good space T H I N G in space
so
D F J I U Y desktop IP log all inbox windows all normal C all normal C IP log all inbox windows C IP all inbox normal C C IP log all inbox windows.
I'm trying to make you hear how fast it reacts. It's not the fastest, and that's due to the Android latency. That's Nexus 5 phone, which has quite good latency. The only way you'll get a better latency is if you're using a Pixel or something. There's a link to an Android latency table on the app description on Play Store, which you can consult. So that's the Android latency. If you use NVDARemote.com, some additional latency will be added if you're not from the States. For now, no official server is available for Europe or other continents. There are unofficial servers, but I haven't found one to be stable enough. Maybe I'll make one. For now, I'll show you how NVDARemote.com works. But since I'm in Europe, it will be slow, but at least you'll be able to see how easy it is to configure. And if I'll ever see a good European/Asian/outside US server, I'll mention it so you could use it. So, in order to use NVDARemote.com, we can disconnect.
Disconnect button. Not connected.
And I will I'll use the computer speakers again.
Explorer. NVDA menu. View out connect. Disconnect D207.
First, we disconnect from the local server we created, and we connect again.
View out B110.
So, and again, NVDA menu, tools, NVDA remote.
View out B1 speech icon manage create board run com remote sub objects syndrome. View out speech icon manage create board run com remote boost remote sub objects preview sub remote sub menu.
Remote.
Connect. Server check. Client check.
This time you're not making a server because you're connecting to a server, so it'll be client.
Server client check.
Client radio button. You don't hear radio button because I'm using a very strange add-on which makes sounds instead of control types. So I hope you'll understand. So client.
Control center machine check.
Control another machine, no.
Allow this machine to be controlled, checked.
Allow this machine to be controlled because we want to control the computer.
Host, Alt plus H, blank.
Host,
NVDA Remote, servce.com.
NVDARemote.com.
Key, Alt plus K, blank.
Key.
AAFF.
We'll still use this. Hopefully no one uses this while I'm doing this demo. It will be very funny to let my computer be controlled in a live demo.
Generate key, Alt, OK. Save all inbox window, live mail window, Outlook Express.
So the three beeps signaling me it's connected. And
Editing, edit, connect, button. Editing, showing number, showing text keyboard. Editing, 79.113.163.55. Edit
so
password.
that's my
Press
old IP address.
clear text.
I'll delete it and type
NVDARemote, period, C-O-M. Showing number keyboard. Editing, 62,000.
I'll use the standard
6, 8, 3, 7.
port.
Showing text. Connect button. Press. Connected.
And it connected. Ooh, this time it's worked. Alright, so
IP location. All in Outlook Express.
I'll disable the computer speakers again so you can hear how much the latency has improved.
Editing, servce.com. Edit box.
Ooh.
Press search plus shift plus enter to long press.
Okay, so
IP location finder geo. Octa MP4 convert your Narwhal C. Word Narwhal. MSRC main Java C. Download Android app. All inbox windows live mail. IP location finder geo. Octa MP4 convert your Octa MP. IP location finder geo. IP lookup. Accuracy of geolocate. Problem. Geolocation. Frame GPS locate. GPS the track insert. Run dialog type. Selection. A. S. D. F. G. H. J. K. Y. R.
so you see,
Desktop list. IP location finder. All inbox windows live mail. Octa MP4 convert.
but it's much easier. You don't have to do port forwards, you don't have to find out your external IP address, you don't have to do things like this. Now I'll show you how to get your internal IP address. So let's say you just want to use this in your home, not at a very big distance. Then it's real simple. You just have to connect your phone to the same Wi-Fi network your computer is connected to, and find out your internal IP address and use that. That will, in fact, that could change too. But you can hope it doesn't change. That depends on your network configuration, and try to use your internal IP address. At least you won't need a port forward for that, and you could control your computer from another room using your phone easily. So I think I'll just use NVDARemote.com. Hope it would work well, although it's slower. So if you want to get your internal IP address, you open run with Windows plus R, type CMD, enter, ooh, shut up, and do it's ipconfig in one word. Open the command line and type in ipconfig. Press enter. Alright, so we press control because there's a lot of info in it, and we can use NVDA plus arrows to read through it.
Connection specific DNS meter state LAN. Ethernet adapter Ethernet 3 LAN. 172 point default gateway subnet mask IPv4 address. Link local IPv6 IPv4 address. Link local temporary IPv6 address. Temporary IPv6 address. IPv6 address. IPv6 address. IPv6 address. Connection specific DNS subnet dot LAN. Ethernet adapter Ethernet. App log on.
It's Ethernet adapter Ethernet. I used the NVDA plus up arrow to arrive to this. So Ethernet is my network connection. For you it may be local area connection or wireless network connection. It has to be the name of the connection you're using to get to the internet. So I got to this with NVDA up arrow, and now NVDA down arrow to the IPv4 address.
LAN. Connection specific IPv6 IPv6 address. IPv temporary IPv6 address. Temporary IPv link local IPv6 address. IPv4 address. Apps log off.
Ooh.
Link IPv4 address. Apps log on. Link IPv4 address. 170 apps log off.
So IPv4 address, and it started to say my IPv4 address, and I stopped it. For you it will probably be something like 192.168.0 point something or 0.1 point something. Another thing, when I'm doing NVDA commands, that is caps lock plus something, talkback, which is on, Narwhal speaks on its own, but talkback it's also on, it will say caps lock on or caps lock off, and that will disrupt Narwhal speech. which is not very nice. So for an optimal experience, you can disable talkback using the 2-volume long press shortcut from Android 8 upwards, or you can disable it from the global context menu if you have an older Android version. Let me show you what else the app has. It's not a very complicated app. It's mostly controlled by the keyboard. So we'll disconnect. It always says when you connect and disconnect, it says connecting and disconnected. So if you're not close to the computer and you can't hear the computer saying connected, the app will say connected and disconnected. Actually, talkback it'll say. And you have. I showed you the fields already. The only other thing present for now. It's more options. And you have tutorial, which is this tutorial. Donate. And about. So that's the about side. So as you can see, there's a donate feature in the app. It's not my idea actually. I wanted it to make it free because I was pretty sure no one would want to pay for this. I was very surprised that some people actually have donated to this. Thank you a lot. And donations actually encourage me to work on additional features, such as being able to control the computer via touchscreen gestures, or implementing text-to-speech settings. Right now, the app uses the default text-to-speech options. People have expressed their will to be able to set other TTS engines or to modify speed, voice, pitch, and so forth. And other features, if you'd like, other features. Also, the app supports pushing the clipboard. So if you have encountered a nice YouTube clip on the computer and want to play it on the phone while controlling the computer, you can press Control-Shift NVDA-C, which will push you can copy the link on the computer and push it to the phone's clipboard by pushing Control-Shift NVDA-C. Because if you open the clip directly, it won't work. NVDA Remote only sends text between phone and computer. What you hear on the phone, it's not actual NVDA speech, it's Android text-to-speech. It's only a coincidence that both are using eloquence for me. That's the way NVDA Remote works, so you can send sound through it. That's the disadvantage. The advantage is that it consumes very less data, so it won't charge your bill too much compared to other remote control options. And also it's faster than other NVDA remote solutions, since it sends only text and not images. Yeah, so I was talking about donations. These features, there's a much bigger chance of getting features if I get donations, because the app works quite well for my part for now. So I originally made it for myself and decided to publish it for others to use, but I don't have too much time and too much willpower to work on it anymore because it satisfies all my needs. Well, that's basically what I wanted to tell you. That's how the app works. I'm sorry for the presentation style. I'm just a coder. I'm not a professional teacher. My teaching experiences weren't the best in the world, but since a lot of people asked me how this works and all that, I decided to try. If anyone else wants to do a better tutorial than this, feel free to, and I'll link to it. It's not very hard to make a better tutorial than this, really. So basically, yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, you can contact me. Wherever I'll publish this tutorial. I'll also put a link to the Play Store page, which will have the email address of my Android development email address, so you can ask questions. Thanks everyone for listening.